Hi, today we're going to be talking a little bit about the process of making a different presentation.
A presentation that sticks with your audience.
Uh, Basically, what we need to do is just to stay away from the computer, especially PowerPoint and other software developed to create presentations.
So we can visualize the sequential movements of our presentations.
Basically, what we need to do is to think analog, as they mentioned before. It means taking your ideas and put them all together in a basic way, but trying to find the real essence of your presentation.
Because we need to care for our audience.
Well, the first step here mentioned it's brainstorming. From out of brainstorming, something that I really like is one phrase that they mentioned, right? The best way to have a good idea is to have many ideas. Of course, you write them down in sticky notes or pieces of paper, and you think about all the things that might be representative or might be interesting to introduce in your presentation.
Exactly. Even the craziest idea might end up being the best idea that you need for your project to work. At this point, we cannot really rule out anything that comes to our head. It's just a matter of putting it all together, and then later on when we revise it well, we'll figure out what works and what doesn't.
Of course, remember that we're trying to find images and symbols or specific things that will lead and will create this little spark on your audience. Of course, step 2, we got grouping and identifying the core.
No matter how long our presentation is, and no matter what the topic that we're talking about is, it is best advised to divide our presentation in sections, and as the book suggests, perhaps it is better to do it in 3 sections, considering that this provides constraint, and also making it time-bound, it allows us to stay on topic and at the end of our presentation provide our audiences with the it.
Out of all these ideas that we have either on sticky notes, pieces of paper, or just written on our board, we can choose the ones that are representative, the ones that will create impact, or the ones that will create this spark on your audience. I like to say this is spark because there is something that catches your audience attention. Of course, the idea is to out of this group of ideas, we can take something that we might identify as the core, right? We got storyboarding of the computer. They mentioned something here about developing storyboards, of course, that they were intended to be used in filmmaking, but of course we can somehow storyboard how our story will go. We can have this thread or set of events or images that will lead our audience into a whole story or topic. Of course, they gave us some ideas like aligning with using even PowerPoint just to make our storyboard template.
One of the main reasons brainstorming on sticky notes is so widely used along the world is that students, groups of students, or even individual students enjoy using this type of strategy, considering that once they're done, they can take the bulk of their sketches and rearrange them in the order that they see best fit for their presentation. If we put this into practice, then using the knowledge that we've acquired over the course of our computer learning, then it is very easy to translate this information into a virtual environment and present it in a format that our audiences will hardly ever forget.
They say that probably this is step 2 to become professional, or you become proficient in making this kind of presentations. Probably before step 4 is sketching your visuals. They mentioned that it's not necessary just to find illustrations on your computer or find pictures to get the idea of what you want.
sketching out our ideas into our own graphics before we jump into the web to find the images that we need will allow us to get a clearer picture, and most importantly will allow us to understand that perhaps the idea that we had at the beginning as to what images would suit best the presentation that we were working on perhaps turn out at this stage not to be the ones that we necessarily need, making this the best step into making the right choices for the visuals we'll end up using in our presentation.
Let's say step number 5, storyboarding on the computer. In this case, you can use a PowerPoint presentation, or you can use any other presentation software to put all your pictures together, and of course you can develop one sample slide, and out of that you can continue moving into the different slides. Of course, what we want is to create colorful and high impact slides, especially with significant pictures, and with something that will catch people's attention. Of course, you can create your storyboard using PowerPoint just by using the grid, the slide grid, and of course you can do that.
Which should be understood that sticky notes are not necessarily the only path to walk whenever we're building a presentation, because if we are proficient enough at using PowerPoint or any other presentation software, we can skip these steps and jump directly into creating our presentations on the computer. However, sticky notes will always be one of the best resources we can rely on before we jump into our computers.
Something that I like about Nancy Duarte is that she says that we need to think outside the box, right? Try to find different pictures, not just the common ones that we commonly use. I like the fact that she mentioned the two shaking hands in front of a world. Of course, this is something that you always see in presentations, and what we try to do is just to improve and innovate. So I like that, and she developed a very interesting software that is gonna help you make simple drafts, but interesting and appealing images that maybe you can include in your presentation. So thank you very much. I'll see you next time.
Thank you very much for watching. We'll keep in touch. Until next time, have a good night.